Hi, I am Marlecia. Welcome to Marlecia's Meanderings, and this is a impromptu book haul. Up front, I got a lot of Catholic books this time around, so it's going to be very heavily Catholic in orientation. Let me just turn my little thing off here. There we go. So, having said that, I want to show you my first book. This is called Living Memento Mori, My Journey Through the Stations of the Cross by Emily M. DiArdo. Okay. And what this is, this person, put my glasses on because I can't seem to read without them. The author was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis at 11. And so this is how she uses the medieval practice of memento mori, which means remember your death, and the stations of the cross to help her to deal with the situation, to live her life in a meaningful manner. I'm trying to see. It's not a very long book. It's got 14 chapters plus an epilogue and a appendix with a memento mori way of the cross. You can see the stations of the cross back here, and I think there's 14 or 15 stations. I'm not sure which amount she did the 15 stations, which includes the rising of the dead. There are endnotes in here, and the typeface isn't too small, so it shouldn't be a very long read. And basically, it helps those to remember that this is not the only life we need to be worried about. It's a very ancient practice. The next book I have is by Cassandra Nelson, and it's called A Theology of Fiction. And this one came up on a YouTube video my husband showed me. I can't remember the man's first name, but his last name is Clavin, I think. And he was interviewing this author. And this deals with what literature, both classic and contemporary, have to do with God. And I thought this would be really interesting. It talks about, the paradoxes of, fiction versus Catholicism or faith. Let's see if I can find the chapters in here. This is another one that it's not very long. It has decent sized print. And apparently she's now doing one on nonfiction and theology. And it started out as just an essay. And it focuses on the legacy of Sister Mariella Gable, OSB. And it says here, I quote, "The stubborn, sharp, influential critic, anthologist, and professor who helped usher in the mid-20th century triumph in American Catholic letters." This is part literary history, part literary and theological criticism. So that's going to be interesting, I think. The next book I picked up is The Confessions, St. Augustine of Hippo, St. Augustine, St. Augustine. This is put out by Ignatius Press, edited by David Vincent McConey, I think, S.J. And the series editor is Joseph Pierce. Very well known name in Catholicism. It's a little bit of a shine on that. I've been wanting to read this for a while, and this is an annotated division, either an annotated or a study edition. I know Ty and I wanted to do this one together, and I think it is a study guide with it. It's got notes. I could have sworn this was a study edition. In any event, we're looking forward to reading this together. I'm not sure if it'll be a buddy read or if it'll be, we do a type of reading where we'll sit down and we'll take turns reading it and then we'll discuss it. So I'm not sure if we're doing that that way, or if we're doing it separately and then discussing it. So, something I've been wanting to read for a long time. My next book is by Edward Sri, and the last time we talked about books, with Ty and I together, I think it was, we talked about Edward Sri. This is No Greater Love, A Biblical Walk Through Christ's Passion. For those of you who are Catholic or Christian, it's Lent, and this focuses on the Passion. It's a biblical walk through Christ's Passion, No Greater Love. Dr. Sri is a wonderful author, and he is a good teacher, and I always get a lot out of his books. I don't think I've finished one fully. We're in the middle of one right now, but he provides reflection questions. Can you see that? And there's some really nice black and white pictures as well. So I'm looking forward to reading this. It's put out by Ascension Press. I think we got this off of Thrift Books. It's a great place to get books for a little less cost. Now this book is by Sonia Corbett, How to Pray Like Mary, by Ascension Press, Sonia Corbett. And I like this one because it's got, the chapters aren't very long because the print is fairly good size, and it's got step-by-step instructions. It's divided into little sections, not chapters necessarily, but each chapter has sections, subsections. And then they have reviews, invitations. For example, this invitation is love, listen, observe, verbalize, and entrust. And she goes into what those mean. I won't go into that there now, but you can take a look at that if you're interested in this book. She's a good writer. I like her stuff. The last two books I got, I blame Faith and Books. Faith from Faith and Books. She doesn't even know who I am. I found her channel and I blame her because she made me go down the rabbit hole. The first book is for her April buddy read, inspired by, I guess it's a read that Miranda Mills is doing. I don't know who that is, but that's the name she gave. And it's called Elizabeth and Her German Garden by Elizabeth von Arnim. I'm not even sure if this is fiction or nonfiction. I haven't checked it out. I love the cover on this. Isn't that a gorgeous cover? So pretty. And I think it has to do, let's see, a witty tale about finding liberation from a stifling world of elitism through gardening. It was a risky tale for its time and still feels modern on both love and the garden. That's The Guardian, the blurb by The Guardian, you know, the little snippets they put in the back. This is an old, I didn't realize how old it was. This book was a wild success, and by 1899, it had run through 21 editions. Wow. So I'm looking forward to starting this. I thought it was a fiction book in a garden, but I guess I thought it was historical fiction. And maybe it is still, but I'm not really sure. I'll have to let you know when I finally read it. This is something that's completely new to me, and I picked it up because of the buddy read. I guess you might call it kind of a whim. And apparently this woman has more books that are worth reading, and one at least has been made into a movie, if I'm understanding correctly. So this looks like fun. My last book was also purchased because of Faith and Books. Her she enabled me. This is for her, what does she call it? Her theology read? I'm not sure if that's what it's called, but it's a 3-month read. This one is for the month of April, the buddy read. But this is for 3 months, April, May, and June. And it's an essay on the development of Christian doctrine by Blessed John Henry Newman. He wrote this as he was becoming a Catholic. He wasn't Catholic yet. And from what I understand, when he became Catholic, he wanted to go back and edit it, but the publishers said, no, leave it the way it is so people can see how you came to become a Catholic. So this looks like it'll be really good. It's very long. It's, well, not very long, but it seems like it's dense. It's only about 300 pages, but it's very dense. And the actual read-along, or the challenge, or whatever you want to call this, Theology Book Challenge, is the first part of the book and then a chapter of the second part. Let's see if I can see this here. I like church history. I like religion and things like that. So sometimes my book hauls will be fairly heavy with this kind of stuff. Can't find it. I don't know. It's in here somewhere. The chapters. Got an advertisement. Okay, it's got, here we go. Chapter 1. So I guess we're reading chapter 1 and then chapter 2, section 5, if I'm understanding correctly. I'll have to go back and look. Isn't that a pretty cover? I like that cover. It's classic. So this one is kind of short and sweet. I hope that you enjoyed it. I wish you all a very happy Sunday, and I hope to see you again next time I record, or when I record with Talia, who is Talia Nerds Out. I will put the information about the theology read-along and the theology challenge and the read-along in my description box, if I remember. In the meantime, have a wonderful week, and I hope to see you again later. God bless.